See him? At the pond?
Yep. Yep. Come on, let's eat! Come on, Wendy! Guess they're gonna just slow. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Joe got him going. Look at that Wendy. I love it when she tosses that head. Good morning. Come on, let's go eat. Whoa, Joe, what are you spooking about, buddy? Come on. Come on up here. Here you go, buddy. Joe, come. Joe, come on. Right there. There you go, buddy. She's gonna go right by you. Go. Alright, now she's set. Now we just gotta find Miss Dolly.
Oh no.
Yeah. She loves her brand. Look at her face. Is that good stuff, girl? Huh? Is that good stuff? She did, you know, these horses, I don't think they ever got brand. Come here, sweetie. And it took a while to kind of get them, come on, to get them used to it. And boy, she just, when I make hers really soupy, it's alright, sweetheart. Yeah, it's okay. And she'll go, she'll slurp up all that water, get all that moisture in. Oh, sweetheart. That's good stuff. Huh? That's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You can eat. You can eat. Look at that. You got attitude this morning? Huh? You got attitude this morning? No attitude. There's no attitude. And this is my hard nut to crack right here. 10 weeks to be able to do this. 10 weeks before I could even touch her. Smile. She gets it all over herself. All right, let's go get Miss Dolly. Okay, basically in pleasure riding, there really shouldn't be a reason why your horse should be real sweaty, like foaming, and really breathing heavy at the mouth. I mean, it's pleasure riding. Do a little walk, a little trot, a little canter, and you have a good ride, and your horse has a relaxing ride. So I always try to use coming back to the barn as part of my cool down. So I will, like if I've done a lot of cantering or something like that, and they are breathing a little bit heavy, coming back towards the barn, I will start going back into a trot and then a walk and maybe a little trot and a walk. And then you'll be surprised how it brings that respiration down, brings that heart rate down. And you can see she's not even hardly breathing. I mean, she didn't work real hard, but just a little bit of just the flaring of the nostrils there, but nothing that is any concern of her being overheated or overworked. All right? And she can go for a long period of time. Now what I want to show you is what I do when I get out of the saddle and I start to untack. So we're going to go back into the barn and I'm going to show you what I do with her. Good morning. We got another segment here. My friend Roy doing the filming, and my name is Gene, and I'm with the PH Balance. That's my company. And this video is just like the last one, just to show you a couple of things of how I handle horses and my training technique, so to speak. And I hope you enjoyed the last one, which was from the trail, or from the barn to the trail, and just showed you basically, how I take my time with my horse to, brush it down, tack it up, and all that good stuff. This is going to be a little bit more on the trotting, and how I got Missy to kind of get that nice trot. I mean, she's had it, but to really work her with it, and to get her to bring the head down, slow herself down. But also it's important for me to how I sit that saddle and how I go with her movement. So Lori's going to be taking some shots of me coming up the trail, coming towards the camera and coming away from the camera. And what I want you to kind of pay attention to is how Missy will move and how I will move with her. So like when you see her shoulder moving out like this, or her left front leg moving out like this, you're going to see mine move with her, and my body just kind of like like a marching almost. Only it's going to be a lot more relaxed, and it's not going to be like real stiff or anything like that. And you can see how she moves coming towards you. See how her chest muscles are moving, and hopefully you'll be able to see how those front legs are moving. And then when we're coming away, then you can look at her buttocks and see how she's moving too, and see how smooth it is and how nice it is. Because when you're in union with your horse and you're in motion with your horse, it makes it easier for your horse to keep and maintain that gait. And also, you're not throwing them off balance. You're in tune with them. And you can feel them in that saddle. If you really concentrate, you can feel them in that saddle. And they can feel you with the saddle also. So it's really a nice unified action, unified motion to keep things going. So I'm going to go ahead and get her tacked up and ready to go. But I'm also, at the end of the ride, I'm going to show you what I do when I untack. Now in the last DVD I showed you what I did while untacking the horse, so we don't need to go over that again. And but I'm going to show you what I do after I get done with riding her, and what I do untacking her. Now this part of the untacking is just going to be like when it's cooler, like the winter months. Like right now it's probably about 75 degrees. It's beautiful. But in the summer months when it gets really hot, then I have another kind of technique that I use on getting my horse comfortable. But for right now, we'll just make like it's kind of winter type, where she's not going to be really that sweaty, and then I'll show you what I do with her on that. So I'll see you in a few minutes. That's it. All right, so. And the clients, when I asked them about the DVD, they really liked the beginning and the end, where you set the music in. They said that was really pretty good. They really enjoyed it.
We know the ending was the best.
Well, you had to be, yeah, the ending was the best. Yeah,
the
that
best.
was great. And but they thought it was really neat, the introduction that she had with it, you know, and they really liked that a lot. I don't know if any of them watched it 3 times like Gabe did, but then Gabe told me why he watched it, so
Yeah.
3 times, so that was pretty neat too. And I gotta trim your feet this week, sweetie. She stands so nice anymore. Yeah, we gotta trim you up. You need to break it up there. Thank you. Passing gas, that's good. You made that, lady. It's a good sign. Good sign. And I know you gotta be tired. We did 2.5 hours Monday, and then I rode her probably at least a good hour and a half, but I'm gonna give her credit for 2 because she stood fighting around with that damn saddle. Look at that. See that? Just pick that leg right up for you. Because she knows the routine. She knows what my next move's going to be. And she just does it. Huh, sweetie? You just do it. That's going to do when you get to work on your pain. I'm not going to blow it all over the place anyway. She's been doing a lot better too with, you know, working in windy conditions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even still, even it's like, well, they're always out there in it, so it shouldn't be a surprise to them. But when you get up on their back, it changes their thought process.
Well, it's kind of unnatural too.
Yeah. But when you get up on them, it changes the thought. Okay, you ready, sweetheart? I'm going to go ahead and pack you up. Okay, babe, use my saddle. know, just the cinching alone just seems like, man, because you're putting so much pressure on the rib cage.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, she still got her head down low. I didn't get a sigh out of her this morning yet, though. Like that. Itches there. Good girl. Boy.
That's a good boy.
Now, I don't think in the last video, I don't think I mentioned the hackamore, did I?
Got me.
I don't think I did.
I think it has to do with bowling, so I don't remember.
Huh?
I said it doesn't have anything to do with bowling, so I don't remember. Did you want to do something here about it, or?
Yeah, I'm going to say something when I get up on her.
Okay. Hackamore. What's a hackamore?
It's a bridle. It's a bitless bridle.
Yeah, you used it last time.
Yeah, I know I use it, but I don't know
I
if
think you went into detail about it.
I don't
though.
think I did. But it don't hurt to bring it up again.
Oh.
All right, sweetie. Ready? Let's go to work. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Good enough? Okay. All right, now I'm back in the saddle here, and I got Missy again. And just like in anything else, when you get ready for a ride, you want to do some stretching for yourself a little bit, and you want to kind of do a little bit of soft walk and maybe a little light trot to kind of get your horse's muscles warmed up and get the bones lubricated and all that good stuff. It's kind of windy today, and it just seems like every time we try to do a shoot, we got wind. But we're in such an open area, you know, the wind is part of it. And this is what the horse has to really adjust to when you're getting ready to do the trail riding. They live in it, but when you're on their back, it gives them a different sense of the wind. They're more aware, more acute of what's going on. As you saw, we were just walking up, coming up towards the camera, and if you notice that a couple of times I kind of reached over here and just rubbed Missy on the neck. That's to let her know that she's doing the right thing for me, and that is just to walk right now, because I just want to loosen her up and get those muscles warmed up for her. And you can see right now she's standing really good. She's gotten really good at standing for me. You see the head starting to drop down a little bit, and a couple of minutes, maybe not even that, after I'd stopped her, she took a nice side. So she's telling me a lot of things, that she's starting to get more and more relaxed with what we're doing and more comfortable, and she has a better understanding of what I'm asking her. And I'm not going to ask her anything that is going to make her uncomfortable unless I've worked with her on it first. So that's why it's taken a little bit of time to get this next video going for the trot, as we had a couple of things that we just couldn't get it down right. So a lot of preparation goes into this. It's not just all of a sudden me coming up in front of the camera and doing this stuff. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. She's getting very receptive. I don't lunge her prior to riding her because her adrenaline kick is up there so high that if I get her into lunging, when I get up in the saddle, she's all hyper and ready to go. And that's going to be our next segment, will be cantering. But I got to get her to where she doesn't have that adrenaline kick in so fast and so long. So I have to work with her on that, and that'll probably be another couple of months before we have another video with her. But anyway, this video, again, like I mentioned earlier before, is going to be from the trail to the barn. And I just want to kind of cover over a little bit of the trot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you front, and I'm going to show you back. And I want you to really kind of look at where her head is, what my body is doing, and basically I'm going to do what we call pedaling. And what that is that when this left shoulder moves forward, my left foot's going to move forward. And you can do that with your arm. You can go like this, or you can go like that. And what I do with that is exaggerate it so that she can really feel that I'm trying to get in tune with her body and really go in fluid motion with her body. And it gives them a lot more confidence because they feel like you're not bouncing around all over their back, and also it helps maintain their balance too. So I'm going to do some pedaling. Sometimes you might see me with my feet going forward, or I might even use my arms going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to where I started, and then I'm going to come back towards the camera into a trot, and then you can see what I'm talking about. Louder?
No.
And also, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last DVD, but when I train, I like using a hackamore. And the reason being is I know I'm going to have to put pressure on it. I mean, I do a lot of preparation on the ground to teach the horse how to bend, how to bring its neck around, lateral flexion, and all that good stuff. But I don't like using the bit. I like using the hackamore because I don't like being on their mouth. And it's not that they don't feel pressure, or they won't feel pressure when I train them, but it won't be on the mouth. And it's not that she can't take a bit, she will take a bit. But I prefer hackamore anytime because I can still get the same result as I would with the bit. And I'm just more comfortable with the hack, that's all. So that's my preference. But if you're a new rider, beginning rider, getting into horses and stuff, I bet would probably be your best bet. If you see any of these guys that do training videos, they'll always pretty much have a bit in their mouth. I'm just different. That's just the way I like it. I want my horse to be as comfortable as possible. Okay, so I'm going to head on back, and then we're going to go into a trot. We'll probably do it a couple times, and coming at you, and then coming away from you. All right. Okay, so that went pretty good. A little bit of a rough start, and I'm not going to do a lot of editing to show you that I make mistakes or that she makes mistakes. I'm not going to edit that because you need to know that we're not perfect, and you're going to see some inequities, and that's okay because that's all part of horsemanship. There's going to be some days that everything goes right, and there's going to be some days that everything goes wrong. So that's all part of it. So you notice that we kind of got a little bit of a late start, getting into a trot. She didn't move right into it, but we're still in the training mode. So I never get upset with my horse, and I never will get upset even if I'm not in the training mode, because I want them to be relaxed and comfortable. And if I start yelling at them and getting upset with them, then they're going to start to fall apart, and then I might as well quit training because it's not going to be effective. So I hope you got to see how I moved. We got out of sync there for a little bit, but when her left shoulder was out, my left foot was out. When it came in right was like, my right foot was like that. So just going back and forth, that's pedaling. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do it with my arms, and I'm going to keep my legs quiet, okay? So I'm going to head on back down. You want to just...
Yeah.
Like that? Okay, now if you notice, that pace was a little bit quicker. Okay, and the reason being was now I'm using my upper body, okay, as to my lower body, and that for some reason is like a cue for her to kind of go a little bit quicker. So she has 2 or 3 different tempos of her trot, which makes it really nice because you can stay in a trot all day long but not keep the same amount of pressure on those muscles. Okay, and notice that when I stop her, I use one rein, and since she is more amiable to turning towards her right, that's the rein that I will use, and I use just a very little bit of pressure. So I'm going to put her in a 360 right now just to kind of show you. Okay, and then I'm going to move her up, and then, oh. Okay, so just I put my weight in the seat, put my feet forward, put a little pressure on that right rein. That's how I stop her. And she's really gotten very soft and really comfortable with that. And I can do it with the left side too, and she's not quite as comfortable with it for some reason. See, the slack in the rein here, and the pressure on this rein. Hook. That's all you need is one rein. Bring that head to a quarter lateral flexion. That's how you stop your horse. The misconception is you pull back on the horse's mouth with the bit with both reins. Well, the horse is still looking straight ahead, and as long as they can still look straight ahead, their thought is to get going. But if you bring that head around, lateral flexion, just like this, now they're thinking about, okay, now I'm just going around in a circle. So when you want to stop your horse, one rein. That's all you need, just one rein. Okay, so now I'm going to have Lori go ahead and videotape me moving away. Okay, so I want you to watch her rump, see how nice that moves, and watch me in the saddle. Now I'm not going to exaggerate, I'm just going to sit the saddle and get comfortable. Okay, so I'm not going to do a lot of movement in the saddle. She actually has a better gait going back because she thinks it's time to go back to the barn. But I hope you'll like what you see when I start off with her, okay? So I'm going to come up behind you, Lori, and then I'm going to come up past you. Alright, that didn't go too bad. Like I said, I'm not going to edit out any of the iniquities here. You can see some parts she was moving nice and smooth, another part she wasn't as smooth. And all that is just that we really don't have a whole lot of time in the saddle. Probably got about maybe up to this point for this month, maybe about 30 hours. We'd really like to get more than that on her in a month, and we're slowly but surely gradually building up on that. But once she does kind of get comfortable with it, you saw that there was just me just turning my body and asking her to do what we call the serpentine. And that's a good exercise when you're out on the trail and your horse is starting to look for boogers. And they're looking around here and they're looking around over there, and they're just looking for having, somebody come out and eat them up. All right, that's right brain. So that's instinct. So when I start feeling Missy starting to do that, looking for boogers, I'll put her in a serpentine. And that puts her into her left brain. Now she's cueing in on what I'm asking her to do, and if she's doing that, she can't be looking out for boogers. Okay? So this is pretty much about it on the trot. She does have a couple other gaits of the trot, and you saw 2 of them. She's got one more that's a little bit quicker, but I'm not going to show that today. I just wanted to show these main 2, and you see as we're talking and standing here, she's bringing that head lower and lower. So she's starting to relax. So Lori's going to take a shot of me going back to the barn, and then I'll meet you at the barn because I'm going to show you how I untack my horse. Hey, Bucko.
Okay.
All set? Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I do when I get out of the saddle and I get ready to untack my horse. Remember in the last video I said the last thing that I put on the horse before I mount is the head stall. Whether it's got a bit or whether it's got a hackamore, it doesn't matter. But I always put that on last before I get up into the saddle. I mean, there's no sense in making it any more uncomfortable. I'm very picky that way. You don't have to be, but that's just the way I like to do it. I want the best possible ride out of my horse that I can get. So I'm going to take every advantage I can. So since the head stall is the last thing I put on, guess what? It's going to be the first thing I take off. So she's got her head down nice and low, and over the left ear, over the right ear, and then I just drop it down. Okay, now if you have a bit, what you have to do is grab a hold of the bit. So the left hand would have the bit right here, and then you would take your right hand, bring it over the left ear, bring it over the right ear. But now when you're getting ready to take the head stall down, you control the bit so that you don't bang your teeth as much as you possibly can avoid it. Okay? And so you want to have control. Now some horses, I've got a friend that she taught her horse how to open up its mouth, and he'll open up his mouth and she'll just drop the bit right out of there. And that's pretty cool. That's good if you can do that. And that's the type of relationship that you can have with your horse. So that's great. Like I said, I prefer the hack over the bit any day. So now I got her relaxed. She's almost about ready to fall asleep because she knows now the best part is coming. Okay? And that's to get me and the saddle off her back. All right? So there she is. She's about ready to just go sleepy by there. Look at that. Look at that lip. That lip's gotten kind of jotted out there. And she's just like, will you quit talking? Okay. So what I do is I start my process of untacking by just loosening up the saddle a little bit. I don't take it off right away. And the reason being is they've got thousands of little blood vessels, okay? And you're going to inevitably pop some of the blood vessels sometimes, but what I do is take the pressure off slowly. So all I'm going to do here right now is I'm going to loosen the saddle. There we go. Now it's loose. You still got a little bit of weight up there. Now the blood has a chance to get out of those little blood vessels, so to speak, and get her to just be a little bit more relaxed. And that takes the pressure off her back. It takes the pressure off her rib cage. Okay? All right. Now the next thing I do, remember, this is me. I kind of tend to really baby my horse. So that's just what I do. You don't have to do this. But I kind of give him a little massage. And so what I do is I'll take my hand on either end of the saddle pad, and I'm just going to go like this. Okay? Just a nice little back and forth motion. Okay? And I'm going to come over onto the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Licking and chewing. So tell me if she doesn't like this. I think she's enjoying this. Okay? Who doesn't want to be spoiled? Okay? So now I got the result that I wanted. She licked and chewed, or if I got a sigh, or if her head came down. All those are signs that she's telling me, hey, I like what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing. Believe me, they do appreciate kindness. Okay? So now I can go ahead and take the saddle off. And I'm glad that I have my Australian saddleback. I've converted it over from being an English type of tacking to an English, or cinching rather, to an Western style. I don't like the English style myself. And I've got a friend, his name is Gabe, and he set me up with all of this. So it's really a nice setup and everything. He did a great job for me. He's been very, very helpful. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gabe. All right, now I'll go ahead and take this off. And now I'll take the blanket off. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see it too well in the video or not. She does have a little bit of sweat built up here, but nothing really major. Now, when we get into the 90-degree weather, we'll start seeing it where this will really be good and dark, you know, from a good sweat. And hopefully there'll be a good sweat working here and between the legs, which is like a kidney sweat. Okay? And you might even get a little bit of foaming back there. That's not so much of a problem. It's when you get your horse lathered up on the chest. That's a problem. That means you're overworking your horse. So anyway, right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of curry her down a little bit and get the little massaging going for her. You know, especially the areas where she's had a lot of pressure, like up here by the wither, maybe over here off to the side, like right in here, because with the Australian saddle I have that skirting, so the end of it is kind of like right here. I don't know if you can see the marking here, but that's from the skirting right there. And it comes down, and it does put a little bit of pressure in there. You've got pressure here, and of course some pressure up in here. So what I want to do is just kind of get these areas worked out real good for her and get the blood flowing. There's one little horse that I was working a couple of weeks ago, and the trainer that had it before I did wasn't paying attention to the girth, and this poor little thing was rubbed raw underneath here. No excuse for that at all. I don't care how much you know about horses, but you got to at least know that you got to pay attention to what's going on here. I mean, that's the rib cage right up in here, and you got all this pressure. You got the saddle up here, you got the girth here, and when you tighten that up, guess what? It's like just like that. So that's a lot of pressure. So that's why I'm so concerned about the comfort of my horse before and after I ride. See her head? Nice and long. Okay? So got the wither area massaged here, get this area a little bit massaged right in here and right in here. And I do the same thing on both sides. Now, normally, when I've really got a good sweat going, I will throw them out in the paddock, and what they'll do is 9 times out of 10, they'll roll. And that's just another way of them, looking at you and again, that's just another way of them giving themselves some relief from the ride. And they'll get down and they'll roll. And one thing that a lot of people make a mistake is they rinse their horse off. And then when they go to take them from the wash rack to the barn or to the stall, the horse wants to go down and roll. And then, a lot of times they get their way. And then the owner gets mad. I just washed you. Well, okay, why don't you let them roll first and then wash them? Okay? Make your life easy. So throw them out there in the paddock. But right now, it's not hard enough. In fact, I'm not even, because I rode her for about an hour, but it was a real nice, easy ride. So she didn't work up a sweat. So I just curry her a little bit, get some of that loose dirt, get that out of there. I'll give her a quick little brushing. Now, during the summer months, I really try to pay attention to their weight. I don't want much weight, but I don't want them real skinny either. Missy, as big as she is really an easy keeper. She maintains her weight fantastic. I got 2 other horses here at the ranch that they're smaller than her, but they're not easy keepers. They're hard to keep the weight on. And so I have to actually give them more grain, which I don't really like doing, but they get fed once a day and they're out on pasture, 24/7 just about. But with her, she has been very easy to manage as far as her weight is concerned. But another thing that I will do is, when I get done brushing her down, unpacking her, doing all this good stuff here for her, and look at the leg it's docked right here, I will put her back in the stall and I will throw her a flake of hay. That's a reward for her for doing such a good job. And even if she was a little bit uneasy or a little bit hard to handle that day, I never use food as a threat. Like, oh, well, you did so bad today, guess what? You're not getting your hay. She doesn't understand that. She does know that I'm going to give her a flake of hay when we get done here. The routine, the consistency of what we're doing, she knows what's going to happen. As soon as I go for that rope, she's going to probably bring that head up, and she's going to be waiting in that, getting ready to go into that stall and wait for that hay. Okay? That's a reward for her. Even if I had a bad day with her, and she didn't do the things I wanted to, she would still get that flake of hay. Okay? Never use food for punishment. Another thing too, after she's had that hay, maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes later, I'll give her maybe a half a scoop of grain. Why? I just want to replace what she may have lost. And if it looks like she doesn't really need it, I don't do it all the time, but she does get the hay all the time. But I don't give her the grain all the time. Now, I worked a good yesterday for about 2 hours, and I gave her hay, and then I gave her some grain. So today she may not get the grain, but she will definitely get the hay. So I'm done with her now, and I'm going to go ahead and put her in. now I'm going to go get the hay, and she'll probably get it. And so will the other horses in their stalls, but unfortunately they're not getting any hay because they didn't work for it. There we go. So, that's pretty much it for this session. I hope you got some good information out of it. I enjoyed doing this again, like I said in the last video, and having Lloyd come down here and doing this. And this, like I said, is going to be from the trail to the barn, part 1. The next one will probably be a couple of months later because I've got to work with her in her canter. And please, don't be under the misconception that I'm a good rider. I'm a fair rider. I don't have my seat for the canter. So that means I got a couple of good months to really work with her on the canter. But as I mentioned to you before about her adrenaline, I always want to start them out nice and slow. Get them at the walk. When they can handle that, you move up to the trot. When they can handle that, you move up to the canter. Now that she's got the walk and the trot down, now we're going to move up to the canter. But I'm going to take probably about 2 months to go ahead and get it critiqued. Myself and for herself. And hopefully in about 2 months we'll get it going for you. So thank you again. My name's Gene. Lloyd is the gentleman behind the camera, and I appreciate what he does for me. Gabe, he's a friend of mine that did the saddle work, so if anybody needs any saddle work, just let me know. I'll get you in touch with Gabe. Thank you again, and we'll see you in a couple of months. All right, cool.